How's it going, Rob?
Hey, man. Feel like we're going to drop some spoilers, but with
No, we're
respect.
not.
But with respect.
with yeah, I want to spoil with respect. Um, yeah, so up front, I had to do a shitty video about old drama again and people taking old message board posts and like turning, not explaining the context to make it sound like I'm something that I'm not. Good times, they nothing else better to do than to pick on me.
they'd
But
rather they'd rather get their fake Star Wars news than the real
yeah,
one.
well, yeah, it's kind of funny because it's like the same people that believe just every fucking bullshit thing that comes out that's obviously fake. Well, they'll believe that stuff about people too. It turns out, and
Turns out.
yeah, it's really stuff that's been discussed on the channel before, but I put it out because if you just take a post somebody said out of context, no idea what they're talking about or whatever, and then you can make it seem like it's something that it's not. I mean, it's
Hey,
not.
bro. These,
Yeah,
these cats are still trying to, like, make James Gunn's tweets seem like he's part of this pizza game.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
right.
it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yes, sorry, we were all edgelords in 2007. Okay, I am serious in the video. Like I say, like I'm sorry if like any of the comments taken out of context or any of the jokes were off color and they're stupid. You know what I mean? I don't want anybody to have a bad time. So I'm sorry if I do that, and I'm sorry if I do that today. You know what I mean? If I make a dumb joke or whatever,
If you do,
But
you got to
the
take the physical challenge, Jason.
right,
You better be
yeah.
careful. That nose picking fucking game. It's no slouch, man.
Oh,
People,
I could do it though. I wouldn't be scared.
it's the chocolate slide. I fear. And no one,
Yeah.
you got one shot at it. You miss. You go down there. You got that sauce on your shoes. You're never getting back up.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just like a huge bummer when you try to facilitate fun Star Wars discussion and then you just get people going like, "Oh, he's not Jesus Christ. He's fallible." You know what I mean?
I know it's just the myth of Jesus Christ. Just make me
Yeah.
laugh.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's no, yeah, it's just like come on, I mean, yeah, but it's like I think
Same
if you
people
watch.
decry cancel culture, right?
Yeah, and I know that's what's funny is like there's like a lot of that side of stuff that it's weird to me when people are like cancel culture doesn't exist. And I'm like it does. It harasses me constantly. Like I know it exists, and then there's other people. Well, those are just called consequences, and it's like maybe yeah, but at the same time, it's like
Until it's them, bro. Until it's one. Look, I learned this when I was a kid, right?
yeah,
Like I used to get bullied all the fucking time, and it was like, all right, whatever. But man, the minute I fucking threw a kid across the room, I was in Saturday school. You know what I mean? I had to transfer schools. It was a big deal. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, so when the kid fucking, you know, it's just when the other kid gets one little fucking thing thrown at him, and that's what happens. Like, if someone went on the internet and fucking complained about these people to any extent, they're trying to ruin my life. I'm gonna cancel. It's like, whatever, man.
Yeah,
But as
yeah,
for people who post stupid shit, I figure this, man. Like, everyone gets at least 3 strikes. If you get three, if the most racist fucking law ever made was the 3 strikes law, right? In our modern time, like you
yeah.
gotta at least get 3 strikes. Like okay, I wrote some stupid shit, but I didn't. But I know the internet was about offending. It was like early, early Comedy Central, where it was like make the most outrageous jokes you can fucking make on the internet.
Hmm.
I'm not saying you did that. I don't even know what they're
I
complaining
did
about,
that.
but
I did
okay.
that, but at the same like they're making it sound like like I mean I don't want to get into the whole Joe Rogan thing necessarily, but like Joe Rogan said like the Planet of the Apes stuff. If you're following along this week, I never said
Yeah.
anything like that. I never said anything where I was like you know what I mean. Like it was always like, man, I bought Uno and I was on it for an hour. An underage girl flashed me. there was a guy with a 300-400 pound guy with his shirt off, and there were people doing lines of cocaine. That really happened on Uno and Xbox Live, and I was just like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
And
well, actually, matter of fact, Microsoft will admit it's why they had to turn the camera off on all those fucking card games because that's what people were doing. They,
yeah,
underage people, not just girls, but boy, they were mooning people. Yeah,
yeah,
older guys were exposing themselves, like those card games with the camera thing. It's what the metaverse experienced in about what 3 fucking seconds. You know what I mean? Like going online and people just is that libertarian belief that people just do the right fucking thing. You're like, no, they
mhm,
won't. But if you
yeah,
mention, hey, I had this shit happen to me, oh, you're looking for it, you're trying to get to it, go, shut up. Like
yeah.
stupid.
But yeah, and like some of the stuff that I had to hit on was like we were in a message board. One message board splintered off, and the people who went to the other side of that other message board, they were pretty terrible. It was actually getting rid of most of the terrible people from that community that we had on that message board. And so I'm being like sarcastic, like, oh, can me and my girlfriend use this to make a whole forum about oogling, underage girls? Because that's what they were doing. They were talking about that one girl on Nickelodeon who was in School of Rock. One of the girls there would write about wanting to use a strap on her, and I'm like, that's like a kid. You know what I mean? It was a bit much. And then so, anyways, though,
It's a lot much.
it was a bit much. Yeah. And
That's the physical challenge we don't want to see.
that's the physical challenge. That's illegal. You don't do it.
Yeah.
But anyways, but they like take the sarcasm of that, misrepresent it, and then now I'm saying, can we please have a forum where we just look at underage girls? It's like, come on. It's like it's so fucking obvious that I'm being sarcastic, but they go and they take that stuff to like build this like case against somebody. And it's like it's funny because I don't know if in their brains, if they're just like, I want to bully people, I want to be a bully, or if they think that they're doing the right thing. But whatever the case, they're doing the wrong thing. They're like going
Jason,
around.
I don't want to blame the victim, but
No, I just
never post a message for us.
no, I'm not. I stopped.
I learned that on AOL in 1995, right? Like
Mhm.
I got into a discussion with someone over the Joker Fish episode Batman Answers,
Yeah,
and some dude started sending me ASCII porn. I was like, well, this is ridiculous.
yeah.
I
Well,
want out of this.
yeah, it's like one of those things where like let's pretend I don't want to make one up because then people will argue with the joke, but let's just pretend there's an edgy joke that borderlines on being that correct almost crosses the line, but let's just say it doesn't, but it's close, right? um I understand today if I make that joke then and people pay attention to me, then that joke could actually like hurt somebody. But when I made the like such a joke, for instance, or any kind of sarcasm, nobody was looking at me. I wasn't guarded like, oh my God, there's these people on Reddit who are just going to take this and turn it into like, there's a basement in the pizza place I go to and we're drinking baby's blood there. Would not think that in 2007. I needed, you know what I'm saying though? And I had no aspirations of being known. I had no,
People are like, I just want the spoilers. I don't want the drama. Hey, man, so do we. Like,
yeah,
that's how we
no,
feel.
yeah,
It's
no,
Friday.
that's exactly how I feel. But the difference is like whenever I go to a job interview and they're like, hey, why are these people saying this about you? Or I meet somebody and we start dating and then they're like, hey, my brother says that you fucking run a forum for underage teen girls or something weird. You're like, what? You know what I mean? And then you're like, okay, let me explain to you. It was 2007, and it's just like it's like a whole thing. They won't stop doing it. I'm not going to quit doing this. So that's not going to work. If that's like the plan, every now and then, like my conspiratorial cap goes on, and I'm like, maybe these are people from a certain corporation who don't like what I do, and that they're the ones who are, facilitating the consistent pressure on it whenever I kick up anything. Maybe it's that. I thought to
Never
myself, but
underestimate that because I happen to know for a fact there was a certain I'll tell you off air, but there was a certain
yeah,
company that was doing shit like that. Like for a major film company, like for people who would, you know what I mean, like that weren't liking their films would go on and start all sorts of like crazy
Yeah.
fucking shit in their comments, you know. And sometimes it's just some PR dude or some lower end cat who's trying to like make a name for himself, you know. But they do that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has
So
happened, huh?
yeah, but yeah, it's just like I said, it really sucks when you're trying to bring the spoiler community what they want, and then you just get dragged through the mud on it. There's
We're just
people on Reddit
we're just
saying
trying
that
to complain about Robert Rodriguez for an hour and a half, really. All right,
yeah,
folks.
yeah. I
Can we
mean,
just go
like
ruin his life, really?
they're like saying that I like they're saying I stalk somebody on Star Wars leaks. It's like, dude, call me an asshole, say my writing's bad, say my sense of humor sucks, but you don't have to take it to he's a fucking stalking pedophile. I mean, give me that's so fucking crazy.
Well,
And
you
and
know,
it's you know what I mean?
it's all
It's
they
just
got, bro. It's all they got left. They can't they lost the whole they're racists because you know these people are generally 9 times out of 10 fascist assholes, and it's just like they found out, oh, we can get people with the pedophile thing. I'm like, yeah, I remember the Satanic Panic. This is the old we've been hearing this shit since I was a kid, you know.
yeah, well,
You know.
like one of the guys, remember that that one show, like 90 Day Fiance,
Yeah.
where that there's a show called 90 Day Fiance, and there's this little creepy man, and he tries to get like a wife from Asia because he's like he wants to boss her around and stuff.
What?
Like yeah, he's like that. He's one of those
This is a
types.
show on
It-
TV. Like if you
it's
made that joke, they'd be using that against you every day.
no, and no, but there was a guy who went over to the other forum, and that was his deal. That was his whole thing. And like I made jokes about him, and because the guy, it was this is a whole bunch of stupid drama, like it's old shit from like when I was 25. It's just fucking garbage shit. But this guy, that was his whole thing. That's what his goal was. I made jokes about it, and then now that's what they do. Oh, like he's racist, and he and it's about
That's an
it's just
incredibly racist show. That's,
yeah. Well, they're more documenting like, hey, like their whole angle is it gonna work? But in the end, he's like, you could tell he just like wants like he thinks he's gonna get a subservient woman who will do whatever he says and not care that he has zero charisma or personality. That's basically
yeah,
what
I
that.
want the show where
that
they take someone who has socialized medicine and they bring him here and let him use the hospital system. You know what
yeah,
I mean? And stick them with the bill. They don't get out of it. Like,
yeah.
like
But
there's a horror.
hello. He said hello there. He said the line. That's the line, you guys. Um, I heard you're really dude, trust me, bro, in disguise. Apology accepted, Captain Nita.
Oh
And
no, you're
then
dead.
yeah, and then we're gonna get on to yeah, we're gonna get on to the and Merry Christmas, Santa.
Look, I feel like
I,
we never got a season one. I'm just saying, before we get on to the other stuff, let's just talk about Boba for a second. We get it out of the way, right?
oh yeah, that's
So
that's
like,
what we're on now. Is Boba? We're on
so
Boba now.
okay, so that explains all this. So, so Campy and Burnett, Robert Mar Burnett, and over them, and Ray and I
How
forget.
how are those old dogs doing over there? I don't
They're
get to
doing
watch much.
well. They had
All
an
right.
interesting conversation about Boba Fett. Like John at least did this thing like things to fix, right? Like a way to like move forward kind of thing. Lessons learned. Like a
Wait,
real
are you talking
it was a
about constructive criticism?
yeah, yeah. Like it
What?
actually was constructive.
Online
But
right now
something
on my
something
internet?
that
Sorry.
I love that you're cutting me off actually. It's
Sorry.
funny.
Go on.
I feel like Johnny's here. Like I feel
Where you at, Johnny?
he's just gonna throw a chair at me through the internet, dude. Johnny, man, he's like the version. What's that teacher? The Key and Peele sketch, A. Ron, where he just starts breaking the clipboard and throwing shit. Like,
Yeah.
just did not expect that from Johnny. Like, okay, all right, nice guy. Anyhow,
Johnny will get you. He'll get you.
Robert Meyer Burnett said something like, and I'm always 50-50 on people's opinions, including my own. Like, I rarely agree with myself. You'll see I'll come back and go, you know what? I had it wrong yesterday. But he did say, he said something that we've all been saying, but I think he clarified it in a way that I think makes the most, like, to the point.
Wait, who did?
Robert Meyer Burnett. He
Okay.
said that this is his words, right? That Star Wars has its head up its ass quite a bit.
Mhm.
In that, yeah, no, now we're getting all mad, right? Trigger. But
No, I definitely agree.
in that they need to stop telling Star Wars stories, but tell human stories and then layer the Star Wars over it. Like
Mhm.
give us stories that we can relate to. Like he related A New Hope to being about, it's a farm boy who hooks up with a bootleg runner. You know what I mean? Like to go save like the wealthy, like the prince or the I would hate to use. I don't know what he used the princess analogy for, but like it's a human story, and then there's this Star Wars stuff layered on top.
Yeah.
And the one thing I've kind of noticed, just having watched Filoni stuff recently, the past couple years, is it feels very Star Warsy with the human stuff is in the backdrop. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
And
And
that might be a product of coming from the George Lucas school so hard. And though that
yeah,
10 years he was worked with Lucas, because that's what Lucas began to do, was he began to not understand the human element. He understood humans from a sociological standpoint much better in his later career than he did from um, an impassioned, empathetic standpoint, I think.
well, like
Maybe.
Burnett was saying that he still doesn't understand if Boba is a Mandalore or believes in Mandalorian stuff, like because that whole line about and we all understand there's a different with the cults and the different factions of Mandalore, but it's never really made clear in these shows they're trying to bring in new people, right? A mass audience. You can't
Mhm.
expect my wife's not going to watch fucking 7 seasons of the Clone Wars to understand every little nuance. If the
Yeah.
show's called The Mandalorian or it's called Boba Fett, you got to explain. It might annoy
Mhm.
some folks, but you have, like in a Spider-Man movie, you have to explain who Spider-Man is, what he does, and and get on with it. And they
Yeah.
they just kind of overlook it. Some people feel, you know, that well, we know that, so we're gonna move on. I'm like, nah, I don't think. I think sometimes not mentioning it is a way of them not having to deal with whatever issues they've come up in the writing that get in the way of that stuff. Does that make sense? Like if I
Mhm.
never bring up that Boba Fett isn't really a Mandalorian, but he's wearing his armor, but it was his father's armor, but his father wasn't really, what was he? But he wasn't. Then they just don't. When when they get out of that stuff, then when something pops up, they don't have to deal with it.
Right.
Like, and I'm like, you're gonna have to deal with this. Like that's the work that kind of needs to be done for people to care. Does that make
Mhm.
sense? Human,
Yeah.
human stories.
Yeah, that's kind of what you're talking about is sort of my worry about the Ahsoka series is that it may actually like go in exactly in the mode that you're laying out. Not the good version of the mode that you're laying out. Um,
Right.
yeah, because like that's kind of where we end up at, like where when Star Wars isn't working, when it is working, like the old Santa, Paper Moon, we're talking about Paper Moon for like the last 6 months, and like you watch Paper Moon, and then you see Mando and Grogu together, and you're like, oh yeah, it works because it's kind of like Paper Moon. There is kind of a human element to their basic interactions. Everyone, I think, especially if you're a parent, you kind of understand like what it's like taking care of a little squirt like that, and you're like, oh, okay, that kind of stuff. And but they're doing it in the Star Wars universe, and that makes it fun. That makes it more intriguing, and then you care about the relationships and stuff. But when it's just like, oh, I want to be daimyo, like I don't really relate to wanting to become daimyo. That's what I
The
mean.
fact that that's a sentence is just
Hmm. I never thought I would a sentence I've never said before in my whole life. You know what I mean? Like it's you get to them, but and that kind of brings us to this. Ming Na Wen tweeted out, "Everyone jumped to conclusions when I called it the first season. What else would I call it? To clarify, it doesn't imply there's a second, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Enjoy all chapters of Book of Boba Fett on Disney Plus."
no, don't.
No, I mean,
No, you don't have to do that.
no,
You don't
it's
have to enjoy all the chapters.
no, you don't have to, but she didn't say you had to. She's just suggesting that you do so. But I mean, I've watched more of it. Like I put it on, like, well, just because sometimes you could start buying into your own hyperbole. Sometimes I do
I get that.
sometimes, and then so I've had it on. I've watched I watched parts of it, and the whole problem with it is just that there's just no cohesion. Is there's like all of these moments that are like they're fine and they're good or they're cool or they're fun or maybe they're even boring, and then but you hope like when it's boring you hope that it's going to pay off later and it doesn't. And then when it and so those moments are just truly boring, like things I wrote off early on in the series or the first like couple episodes, you're like, oh, maybe that's, oh no, I think that stuff's going to pay off later, but it doesn't. So it's like kind of, so what? And so on one hand, a part of me is like, don't make a season 2. You didn't make a, like you were joking, we didn't really get a season 1. And it's like it feels very incomplete. And so could a season 2 fix it? It could, but if it doesn't, then ooh, that's bad.
The only way this works is if they get someone on board who has a real vision and hits the ground running and really gives it some energy. Faster and more intense,
Yeah.
is something. But it also, how do I say this? Like, I know, like, when I first saw the first episode, I said, this looks like a TV show. And, the feedback I was getting was, oh, it's a TV show, bro. It's supposed to look like a TV show. I'm like, yeah, I get that. But there are ways to shoot TV shows so they don't, like, Quantum Leap was able, not in every shot, but a lot of times to be shot in a way that looked cinematic in 1991.
Yeah.
And like, I'm just looking at the way it's shot. Like, there are some episodes where you're like, that's cinematic. And the other ones you're like, that right there, my friend, is like, that's a sound, that's a film school thing, Like, that's not good. And I'm looking at the credentials and I'm like, it's a lot of money to be paid to make something not look like what you spent your money on,
I'm just going to be straight up with you right now, Rob. I got to go to the little boy's room.
All right.
I'll be right back. Tell these people
You're
a
taking
story.
the physical challenge.
Taking the physical challenge. Hope I don't slip.
Pick a winner. Let me open up the old chat, folks. I can't bring up nothing, but we'll look. I'll read some here. Marty K says you'd prefer if there wasn't another season. Let's see if I can bring this up. I can't. It won't let me bring it up. But Disney has shat on Boba like they did Han and Luke. I don't think they shat on Boba. They just didn't give him anything to do. They certainly didn't make him feel smart, right? That I think we can all agree on. Peter Griffin, I didn't mind the spice and lizard in the face scene though. Yeah, that was cool. I just wish that what he saw kind of went somewhere, like if it had given us glimpses of the future storyline, right? Or like, or how he was like, he wants to do one thing, become a daimyo or whatever, or be in the Tuscans, but it's given him like the real path and he ignores that path. Like if the lizard vision gave Boba the
lizard vision, I just had one right now.
Yeah. But I was saying, if the lizard vision had given Boba the call to adventure, like the real path forward, like go to Mandalore, I don't know, like, help out with this, but he ignored that to be with the Tuscans and the Tuscans suffered from it, then there would be a real, right? Like, then that's the consequence of not following, you're following your bliss in a way or whatever, like your true calling, and there's consequences for that. So like that, but that's not there, right? And we can read into it, and you can go, "Well, look, that's what happened. He did ignore it, and he stayed, and he died." I'm like, but that it's not saying that. We all have to do this fan, theorizing, and that's where I feel like we're in the prequel era. Like it was real easy to watch Empire, New Hope, and Jedi, and clarify what's going on for the most part, right? Like very rarely do you watch it and have to explain to folks. But with the prequels, it was like I have to now like midi-chlorians mean this, and really it's because of that and attachment, and you're like, that's real loosey goosey here, folks. Like, I feel like we're fixing it.
Yeah. Well,
it's a custard
I feel like a lot of the things that are letting people down, or that whatever the dominant critique and discourse becomes, they're going to be able to probably rectify it in the future stories and figure out what that stuff is, and maybe even retroactively elevate it a bit. Like, I have a feeling what we end up having at the end of Book of Boba is Din has given Boba a very big thing. He's essentially helped hand him Tatooine, and without him, it wouldn't have happened. So when Din is going on his journey to become Mandalore, which I believe that's the path that we're on here, or at least, or maybe Grogu, but together they are. Boba's going to pay him back. And when that happens, if that moment is stellar, then fans retroactively see all of this as significant and really important and really matters. And they're really into it because they feel that through line. But if that doesn't happen, then, well, you know, it's then you have an issue, right?
Sure.
But I mean, in the long run, but at the same time, with so many of these shows coming, I have a feeling that maybe we just forget about it. Maybe this isn't like a film, you know, where it had like a big push and then, you know, it really, like Solo, a Star Wars story, dominates that era of Star Wars for us and stuff like that, you know. With this stuff, when we're having like 3 of these series every year, maybe this is just one just falls off, and that's okay in the end. And
I'm just
is a
so I went back
misstep.
and rewatched the Mud Monster episode, right?
Okay.
It's one of my favorite episodes, right? Was it the director? I always fuck up his name. I don't want to say it, but he's fucking brilliant. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, like Grogu lifts a whole monster in that
Yeah.
episode. And I'm like, all he did in this one was pull out the bolt in the leg on a robot. I'm like, he should have just crushed it. You know,
Yeah.
like I just like, this is their own, none it's their own continuity they're not being consistent with. Like, you know, it's odd.
Yeah. I really, really seriously like feel that if you were going to go and have, you know, Grogu with Luke Skywalker and all that kind of stuff, and then you're going to have him return to Daddy during the big battle. The moment when he pulls the stuff was great, but he really should have like had the lightsaber. They should have done the Attack of the Clones Yoda moment. He should have come in when it looked bad and jumped through the force field and cut the thing in half or something. Like, you know what I mean? We should have saw that. And then, you know, remember in Attack of the Clones when Yoda does all of that stuff and then he's done, and then like his back kind of hunches over again and he takes the cane and he's back to limping.
Well, the second he went off
Baby Yoda,
season 2,
Baby Yoda becomes a baby again. Right after that, you'd be like, it would have been fantastic.
Yeah, 100% I'm with you on that. Because when he left with Luke in season 2, I immediately was like, oh, when he comes back, he'll save Din, and that'll be cool to watch. You know,
Yeah.
I never once thought he was gone forever. I'm like, but when he comes back, he'll save Din, and I'm like, no, that's not what happened at all. Whoa, what a fucking missed opportunity this was. You know, he doesn't get to come back again. Like that's done and over with. That is weird. You know, that's like a easy tee off. It's the same thing. Like, why would Boba Fett leave and not bring back his ship? Why would he bring the Rancor? This makes no sense. Or the Pikes. Like the Pikes I complain about this. They take public transportation to get onto Tatooine, but they have, you know, Empire level battle droids to drop, and you know, like do you have all the money in the world or don't you? Like, it's so fucking weird, man. Like, it's so, I rarely get angry when I just feel like it's insulting to the intelligence of the people who actually do pay attention. Sometimes, you know, the discourse can be, hey man, it's just good fun. Don't think about it too much. I'm like, that's exactly what these same people complain about them. And they feel like the Marvel movies aren't that smart. They just keep it surface level. I'm like, but they're consistent. Like if you paid attention, you're rewarded for it. I don't feel like now if I'm paying attention, I'm told don't pay attention. Because if you do, you're going to be like, but that.
Yeah, I mean, it is the internet is just, it's full of, I've probably been one myself, but it's just full of people that like love something, so then they want to defend it, and because they do enjoy it, but at the same time, you know, it's like, like there's this tweet going around, and I'm not necessarily saying I even disagree with it, but they're like, oh, some people won't watch 18 hours of a cartoon. Well, sucks to be you, or something like that. And it's like, yeah, I do agree. I do think that for some people, they're missing out on a lot of the good Star Wars content. At the same time, you're not really being very realistic. Some people aren't going to do it. And
Yeah,
and
I'm gonna watch 18 hours of a cartoon. I'm watching 18 hours of Dragon Quest and DuckTales, because that's Clone Wars cartoon. There's something cringy about it, man. I try every time I put one on. I'm like, it just takes me back to an era I don't want to remember. I don't like the era. I don't like the whole. I didn't enjoy Star Wars at this time. I walked away from this, like, and I get that they did a lot of good development, but these shows that they're doing now cannot just be, now you get to see that cartoon in live action. Like, they can't just be that. That has to be like the icing. Underneath that needs to be a real story. The real story is like, if Cad Bane and Boba Fett Cad Bane was sort of like a surrogate Jango Fett, but like the bad father, like the bad stepfather kind of figure,
right.
Boba Fett, then like you bring that in episode 1 and you get to see like, like that's a great that's Shakespearean to an extent, like that is some real meat on the bone there to mine and take way further. But they don't. So, all right, like, I mean, or how about this? The Pikes want to run spice through Freetown. I hate that. All right. But the big battle takes place in Mos Espa. The fight should have been in Freetown with A-Team style. Like, they have to build, fortify the base,
dig
shut
holes.
down the whole thing. Like that's
that one trap from like Willow, like where like all the people come out and falling in the pits. Yeah.
Classic Seven Samurai. This is Seven Samurai, which I know like they were kicking around that Seven Samurai bit with Zack Snyder for the longest time.
They actually need to stop now. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they've done 3 Seven Samurai things now. You did it.
That's probably why they didn't make the movie.
It's probably why. Well, no, back then they had only done the episode of the cartoon at that point. But yeah.
But at least if it showed Boba Fett building and constructing shit, and helping them, like, they got the mods are like, we got our mod bits, we'll help construct shit, and
mods are taking apart Nintendos and stuff and turning them into bombs. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So
they control the Rancor with the NES advantage, right?
Yeah. I was on the Talking Sith podcast last night, and they asked that this came up. James says, "Hey, Jason, is the Shadows of the Empire live action television show bullshit?" Well, I can tell you that I don't know anything about it. I haven't heard anything about it, and I don't know where it originated from. So that, and I think that can matter. But the one thing that I would tell you is that over the years, people I know and friends at Lucasfilm and stuff like that, who, when we've been talking, they're as critical as everyone in this chat is about any piece of given Star Wars literature. The very concept that they could take one of those things and be like, this is gold, and we're not going to change a thing. I just don't see that as happening. I don't think it would happen. And so could I see there being something where they're like, hey, you know what? Let's do something like Shadows of the Empire. Like,
great name.
But the reality of it is their quote canon comic books just completely negate the rumor.
Yeah,
the idea
the comic books don't count.
Right.
I'm telling you, they don't count. I don't care what they say.
No,
and Star Wars Endgame said, Rob, they sent Cad to take care of Freetown for dumping the spice. I know. I just want to say, I'm aware. I'm talking about when you're in the room pitching the story, you collate it to somewhere that matters. No one relates to a giant city, Yeah.
So, but Rob, if we were anywhere near green lighting Shadows of the Empire, those comic book stories would not have happened right now. They wouldn't have. It just wouldn't have happened. And I agree with you that the comic books, they truly barely matter. They'll be honored when it's fun, convenient, and easy for the creators. And when it's not, they'll just, we don't care. You know, we're not even gonna think about it.
I
Not
thought
even gonna talk about
for
it.
a hot
But
second, I thought there was a real good possibility we were gonna see that Terminator dude from the War of the Bounty Hunters from the old Marvel
yeah,
comics, given all the Terminator imagery in this series.
and the
You
mods.
know? Yeah, and the mods, and I was like, well, that maybe that'll be the hidden fucking dude. No.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right, whatever.
yeah,
But Shadows of the
yeah.
Empire is a great fucking name, man. I just
Sure.
wish when I remember reading it, I was like, the problem is they made a serious Han Solo surrogate. It should be like a doofus, and my
It,
friend
it,
was like, no, it shouldn't be goofy. I'm like, it should be a guy who's not that great. The
I'm even
opposite of Han
gonna take
Solo.
a step it away from that. It just should have been inspired, whatever it was.
Right.
Right? Like
Yeah.
it was just, what if, like, the way I almost took it was, remember who's the good looking guy on the A-team? Is that Face?
Face.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like, what if we
Starbuck.
got Face? What if we had Starbuck just be Han Solo for this episode? That's what it felt like.
Oh,
It's
he
like,
does look like Starbuck, doesn't he? I know a lot of people think it looks like Kevin Costner, but I'm like, I think it looks more like Starbuck. Now that yeah.
yeah, kind of. But
Like
I
he
mean,
looks like deep fake Kevin Costner. Did you see the Oral Nuts did that Book of Boba Fett intro? They did it all like Knight Rider.
no, you
They
sent
get
it to me, and I saved it, but it was on Vimeo, but I kind of wanted to watch it on the TV, you know. And so
right.
I was waiting. I was because they last time you sent it to me, it was on Vimeo, and then the next morning it was on YouTube. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna see if it's on YouTube today. If not, I'll just watch it on my phone.
I don't want to, but they go through the credits. They get to Luke and it just says deep fake. I'm like, that's so fucking good. It's got everyone's name in it, but it's like that's clever. It's clever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Papa Papas says, "Got you boys on in the car buying groceries soon. Diapers for me." Wait, no, he's having a kid. Okay, so I hope that's what he means.
I was gonna say, is he going to a concert? Is he like Richard Christie who wears diapers to concerts so he doesn't have to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, didn't he like just pee his pants a couple times? He's like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna pee my pants instead of leaving."
That's why he started wearing diapers though. I
Yeah,
used to just pee my pants, but now I wear diapers. Yeah, that was the day where I'm like, you don't have to talk, Richard.
you just don't have to.
It's in my head.
I remember when before Phantom Menace came out, I was like, "Is that a viable op?" No, it's not. I was like, what if you have to go pee really bad in the movie? You're gonna get up and go. What are you gonna do? You know? Then I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'll just go pee, just like I just did in the show. But anyways, yeah. But but to go back to the basic gist of that rumor, I really doubt it. I don't think that they could or would, and I don't think that they would even agree on it. I don't think that they would even agree what to keep and what to change and stuff like that. And I think that those rumors probably are spawning out of the concept that we're getting all of this. Like, there was an heir to the Empire rumor not too long ago, and I think it has to do with that we're seeing elements of those things show up other places. There were rumors that Shizor was going to show up in Book of Boba, which he didn't. And
the way that the MCU has translated storylines into cinematic versions of them, right? Like Civil War is not the comic. It's not the comic on any level, but it's a great
right,
name. It's a great premise, and they found a way to tie it into their continuity. Like Shadows of the Empire is a great Dark Empire is a great name. Like everything, all that shit is dope, dude. Like to not. It's way better than the Book of Boba Fett. You know what I mean? Like when you think about just the naming conventions, or let's be honest, Obi-Wan Kenobi is the name of a series is not the most inspired name of all time.
yeah,
Right? Like Solo, like Star Wars Solo and Solo, like Solo twice on a Solo. Like it's that, like Smuggler's Run would have been a cooler name for a movie. You know what I mean? Than like
sure, yeah, no. Solo
That's what
Star
I'm saying.
Story.
These are if all the Marvel movies like they got Thor, but at least now you're getting like Love and Thunder. They're getting creative, right? Like we need
Yeah,
a little bit more of the creativity back in this, you know?
yeah, yeah. Fun names, and I mean, even an era of it being operatic to some extent is sometimes appreciated, you know. And but they really right now are it's really conservative. I think when I say conservative, I don't mean like politically. I just mean like
Yeah.
it's like let's really play it safe all the time. Let's play it really super safe. And like Boba Fett, sometimes I wonder if Robert Rodriguez was boasting about, I can't believe what they let us do. You know, I have everything I want to do. They let me do. I couldn't believe what they let us do. And it makes me wonder if he went in there thinking this is going to be so uptight, stale, and sterile. And then so he started from a sterile place and pushed out a little bit more when it should have went a lot further, in terms of violence and that kind of jazz. You know, it really should have. And at least for if it's going to be Boba Fett. And
Right.
but you know, I mean,
Yeah. Let's make a Dianoga
there's
show. Star Wars Dianoga,
like when I have like the Tuscan episode and the Luke episode, then I'm like, I'm glad it exists. You know what I mean?
right.
Like
Yeah.
I don't want to throw that away. So like there's a part of me where I'm like, I'm glad this does exist. But then there's other parts of me where I'm like, man, I just hope that you didn't for instance, I really wanted Han Solo movies, and they fucked it up by releasing it so close to the Last Jedi, and then now I don't get Han Solo movies. And I hope that this isn't like that. Like now I don't
Which
get
is
Boba stuff.
weird too, because it's like, um, how do I say this properly? Like, all right, just reiterate. I mean, like, no offense, it made the same amount of money as Thor 1. They go, but it's Star Wars, it should make more. I'm like, maybe you should stop expecting Star Wars to make $1 billion every time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like make $100 million Star Wars film. You know what I mean? That
Yeah,
turns around a 400 million, and you're, you know, plus some good merch, and you build a base. You get to that third one and you're gonna make your billion on that third one. You know, like, and look at the Thor's great. You got the first movie I thought was all right, didn't go far enough. Second movie's a step backwards. Third movie kills it. It's like if they had that Lucasfilm mentality so far, never would have gotten to even the second. But or maybe he doesn't even appear in Avengers. It didn't work
yeah,
so well. He cut him out. Doesn't really take place. It's not important. It's not working. Like, you know, I don't like it's that it's like almost like that DC Warner Brothers thing where they just hit the nuke button on everything. You know,
yeah.
and it's odd.
Bridging the Geekdom podcast says, all right, question for you both. What Star Wars moment in the Disney era excited you the most? For me, it was Ahsoka and Luke together. Uh, Off the top of my head, it was when Snoke got killed. When they killed Snoke, I thought bravery has returned. We are going to go somewhere that I did not expect, and oh boy, am I excited! I'm not saying the trilogy delivered that. I don't believe that the Rise of Skywalker did, but that moment was probably the biggest oh shit moment and most excited I probably was in the theater for something. Yeah, can you think of one, Rob?
It's Rogue One. Like,
Rogue
I mean,
One.
every Star Wars campaign I ever conjured up. It was funny when I was a kid. I had this buddy, so we would do the Star Wars role playing games, and his stuff he would always run them, and it was always like he's got a super Jedi, he's got all these Star Destroyers. This is real OP shit, and it
Mm-hmm.
just annoyed the fuck out of me. So I started writing these campaigns that were like, all right, we got to go into the Hoth base and get some piece of information out of the databanks. And down there are fucking all these wampas. And you know what I mean? And like this like force corrupted fucking ghost that fucking Luke left behind or something. Or Vader, you know, like left some lingering presence to from being there, you know? And
Yeah.
like it was just real simple, like Aliens 2 stuck in the hellhole trap, you know, with the aliens kind of shit. And so
Mm-hmm.
when I saw Rogue One, I'm like, this is the kind of thing. Like a band of little mission group that ain't gonna make it, but they do the greater good. But it wasn't just the premise; it was the fact that even when they're on the planet, when the very first planet that Jin's father's on and shit,
Yeah.
it looks, everyone's wet and filthy and dirty. Like look at this show we just watched. When not one of those Freetown people has a speck of dirt on them. Like they're all super clean, man. But
Mm-hmm.
if you look at, what's her Jin's dad? Galen? Is it Galen or so? Is that,
Galen or so, yeah.
all right, I'm bad with names. He looks like how I felt in the military. Like I'm just always fucking wet and dirty. Like can never get clean. You know, just shit like
Mhm.
that. And then, but then you get into the military compound, and there's no dirt anywhere. Everything's reflective and pristine and stare. There's no life there, right? And you look at
Mhm.
that battle, the battle on the ground, the battle in space. It actually works, you know, and it in ways that it hadn't in a long time. But the geography's all there, you know, like
Yeah.
everything for me worked, man. And it was in 3D. The 3D was great. The music was so the book actually worked. So like to me,
Mhm.
I'm like, all these things were really hard to get done, but I think like that also says that Star Wars is hard to make. I'm very aware
Mhm.
that when something doesn't work for me, it's not like, oh, you could just go in and make a Star Wars. No, I think it's super hard, which is
Yeah.
why you have to be very careful about creating all the things you could never do in Star Wars as a list before you start doing it, because it's like if the story needs that, we need to do it. You know, like, and that's
What the
why.
story wants as opposed to what you bullet pointed. Yeah.
Exactly. Or that's why, you know, when you're like, oh, well, not you, but when they're say, hey, the Rogue One is an accidental masterpiece, bro. Star Wars: A New Hope is an accidental
Mhm.
masterpiece. You know what I mean? Like a lot of great films were accident. They didn't work up until they did. Superman the movie, you know, plays way differently until John Williams' music cues in and ties a lot of that shit together, man. You know, and matter of fact, like um with Donnie Darko there. Who cares if it's an accidental masterpiece? Like, I think the first one in anything that's groundbreaking is almost accidental, right?
Well, let me ask
It's
you
when they
this.
have to keep making them. It's harder.
When you go and you remove the director and you bring in a different director and you rewrite the whole thing, and is that an accidental masterpiece at that point?
No, they wasn't working and they brought in someone
And
else.
they fixed it.
Yeah.
They made it
And they
into
spent the
what it
money to
is.
fix it. Yeah.
So I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I just think it was a really inspired idea. We had a good visual director come in, then we removed him and put in a good writer director in. And so I think that in the end we just got the elements that really clicked. But I will also say that for what it's worth, Rogue One burned me out quicker than most because of how it is. Like if all of the movies were like Rogue One, I don't know how. I like Rogue One
No,
a lot. I don't think I can't
I
watch it
don't
that
want
much.
everything
Yeah,
like that's the,
yeah,
I'm not saying do this
yeah. I know
again and
you're not.
again and again. That would be the worst thing to that's the
Yeah.
problem has been with the shows is they get a win and then we're just going to keep doing that over and over again. It's like, no, you have to have a different. Solo should be a big fun thing. You know, if you're going to do
Hmm.
these characters from Rogue One, they should have their vibe. You know, fucking Mando should have his vibe. Ahsoka's show should have their vibe.
Yeah,
He's thinking I'm saying New Hope is bad. I didn't say that. Like,
yeah.
go
It's
read the
not.
Rinsler books, Germinal. I don't feel like getting into a discussion about the making of a New Hope right now. Sorry, it's called Star Wars. It's not a New Hope. Yes, I'm.
It's called A New Hope.
Solo is so look, man. Solo is the one where I was like, why is it so fucking dark? Why is this movie so fucking dark, dude? I
No,
love this cinematographer, the guy from Arrival. It's like, why is it so dark, dude? I can't see nothing. And I was in a laser projection like theater, man. Like this should be Smokey and the Bandit like in space. Like, why is it? It's like darker than Sicario. Like, I don't understand.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love Solo too, but I don't think I agree with the look of it and it being dark like how it was. I think that there was just so much mixed things going on between the director change and stuff that they because like I heard at one point it was supposed to look more like a black exploitation film. It's supposed to have more of a black exploitation film vibe. And when Ron Howard came on, they went right back to it. Different tone, the tone changed. So I think we have a really dark, gritty looking film, but then it's like it's
Does that mean like
Cocoon.
Cowboy Bebop? Is that what they mean? Like, were they gonna do stylistic like
Uh, n-
threshold silhouette bits, with the film grain?
I don't mean like it was I don't think I don't mean to imply like it was a joke or it was badly made, but from what I heard, it was more like when Dolomite is working, and like you see and like a lot of those like colorful characters that are like, you know what I mean, like he's really cool but he's a ninja kind of stuff. You know what I mean, like that kind of stuff, and
Well, fun. I'm not gonna complain. Like Solo's where you have fun.
I
You
would
should
think
have
so.
yeah. To start up syndicates like this. Look, they're 0-2 on the crime syndicates for me in Star Wars right now. And
Yeah.
to go to a Shadows of the Empire where they do it a third time, it's like you better get someone on board that really understands crime shit before you even consider bringing in another one of these crime things because it hasn't worked so far, you know.
Lando Lamite. But yeah, I also I mean, when you look at it, I mean having and I don't know to what degree they were going to go through with that, but I've heard that from a few different people, especially back then when they were making the movie, and I was getting all kinds of information about it. That's what I was told, and then the change happened, and what I got to say, like they're gonna keep telling the Orlando story now, and they're bringing in black directors and writers and stuff like that to work on that stuff, and I think that's probably more appropriate than maybe some white guys making a black exploitation film with Lando and Han. Maybe that's not a good idea.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Maybe
sure.
maybe it was for the best. So
But that's why I'm like, why not Smokey and the Bandit? That's what's as
mhm.
white boy as it gets, second highest grossing film in '77. Like I just, it's just strange. It's
Yeah,
all that strange. But you asked me what excited me. That's what excited me. I've enjoyed a lot of stuff since, mostly in the Mando, not so much in the films.
yeah,
The thing that gets me on the Last Jedi that I actually really did enjoy was when Luke, that whole thing when Luke comes back with Leia, goes out there. All that works. All that works really well for me.
right.
Um, I even with the the Hamill with the shoulder bit, I'm fine with that. I like all of it.
Right.
But but the sequel films are, the best of times and the worst of times.
Right. Right.
you know.
Yeah, no. I mean, like I really do like the first two like a lot, and the last one just is what it is. Okay, so this comes via JohnWilliamsFan.com. I think it's JWFan.com, maybe. Um, and this is a musician, Cecilia Tassan, is with Gloria Chang and Helen Nightingale. Happy 90th birthday to the great John Williams, February 8th, in less than 2 hours. That photo was taken in 2019, the photo on the bottom here, at the end of the Star Wars sessions. But tonight, we were in the same Sony studios recording his magnificent music again. We were all smiling behind our mask. When he gave us the downbeat to play his piece, we instead played Happy Birthday, and he kept conducting. What a joy. What a force of
Oh,
nature. Truly inspirational. And then this is them, I think, during the during the Rise of Skywalker sessions, probably. So, I didn't share any of it. Here's the photo. Sorry about that. Here it is. And
hey,
so basically, though, the question is that because I've heard that Williams wants to focus more on writing his original independent like little music pieces now. That's where he's at. Okay, but he is in this place with these people in that studio, and it has a lot of people asking, is that wondering, and myself included, is he recording like maybe the theme for Kenobi? You know what I mean? And he said
if
he
he
was,
was doing anything, that would be the only thing I can imagine because of it coming out on May 25th.
yeah.
I could see him. I could see him thinking maybe episode 9 wasn't the best place to end it. Like why don't we go out on a win kind of
I
thing, and all the way back
I
to the
wonder.
beginning. It's not a bad career move.
Yeah, I wonder if he even sees it that way or not. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a good
But I could see
question.
Lucasfilm thinking about it that way. Like, why don't we
Yeah,
have, he started it. Why doesn't he finish this?
And I mean, he's been pretty cool. Like he's been like, yeah, I'll do the theme for, I'll do the theme for
He's
Galaxy's
like, I
Edge.
got it, I got
Sure,
it, I got it.
I'll do the,
He's like, whatever.
I'll do the Indiana Jones music. He's doing Indiana Jones
Yeah.
and stuff like
He's like, I
that.
got the
So
theme for Kenobi. It's it's time for Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's time to go back to the
Bum, bum, bum,
sand.
bum, 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 bum,
Time
bum,
for
bum, bum,
Obi-Wan
bum, 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 bum,
Kenobi.
bum,
He
bum,
lives
bum,
in
bum,
a
bum,
cave and
bum,
shits his
bum, bum,
pants.
bum, 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 bum. Yeah,
What?
yeah, that sounds like John Williams.
Yeah. We got it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a bit of a stretch, but it would be great if that's what it is, and we are at about that time. We're not, you know what I mean, where if because like in no way would I assume that Williams was going to do the music for all 6 parts of Obi-Wan Kenobi, but he may write the general theme song that starts it, and a little leitmotif that is played throughout, and maybe some new versions of Princess Leia's music and of this classic stuff like the Force theme that will be in this a lot, and so
I
maybe
like Leia's full suite. Like
yeah,
when you just listen to the suite on the first, the whole the way it plays out, it's not something that gets reused a lot. Honestly, it's one of those kind of forget about it, but it's really good.
Yeah, it's just Leia's music, man. It's what it
If
is.
they can't get John Williams, I want them to get Randy Newman. It's time for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
Time to go back to the stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got sand between his toes and he's walking down the street, gonna look for a job, gonna get something to eat, but he ain't got no money because he lives in a cave. It's Kenobi.
I like to do litters.
Yeah. And he doesn't even say Obi-Wan. He says Obi Kenobi. Obi Kenobi. Obi Kenobi.
Obi Kenobi.
Yeah. I would watch it.
Oh man, it's you're just got one foot in the Song of the South, my friend. You need to be a little careful how you.
Just wait for the tweets. They're gonna scream. Yeah, but I mean that would be cool. It would be really cool if we had some John Williams back doing some Star Wars. And I'm just gonna also throw it out there. In no way I don't think we should get too excited about this, because it could literally just be him recording a piece of his music with these musicians. It could just be that.
He has
simple.
an album coming out. It really so people should remember it could just be for his album.
It could just be that, yeah. But also, like, I would have to imagine that like there was some time booked to do Indiana Jones this year, and that's probably not happening now. So maybe they're like, well, hey, can we get you to do, the Obi-Wan Kenobi theme song? And maybe he's like, yeah, it's possible. I'm hoping that's where it goes. But at the same time, you never know. What Obi-Wan do slung dick and Jennifer Beals plays? Probably show a helmet. I don't have a helmet. Yeah, I don't think so. I think she's
they're gonna
roasted.
mischaracterize that quote one day, Jason.
Yeah.
His shows with the Beals. Like, all right. May 25.
It says Revenge Guys all. Kylo's room was the worst emo kid room I've ever seen. Where were the padded white walls? Yeah, his chambers were codenamed the padded room, because it was supposed to be where he goes and has all these crazy, moments with the Darth Vader helmet and stuff. That was the code name or whatever. But
if he had actually been like holding on to that helmet and being able to like see visions and shit, and like, I don't know, something to that whole fucking thing, just staring at it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Jorgensen. Yeah. It said Jorgensen. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he definitely did a really good job, and it's definitely not John Williams. I don't mean that as a slight. It's like more spaghetti western kind of style music or whatever in some ways,
Yeah.
and it totally works in that property. When we get to the Kenobi part, I could see the John Williams stuff really paying off and working really, really well there. At the same time,
Yeah,
though,
his Ray theme is great. The
Mhm.
Williams' Ray theme, but that's
Oh,
it.
it's
Out of all that
his
stuff, that's it.
like I feel like for me, I mean, uh, like Across the Stars for me was his last really great piece. Battle of the Heroes is pretty good.
No,
But
it's that
the
for me. It's not the one in the movie, but it's on the soundtrack.
mhm.
But it's
The
that
soundtrack version, you mean,
the
of it?
soundtrack version of the
Yeah,
it's the on Revenge of the Sith. It's the military version of the Force theme.
yeah.
Like that the way he militarized it, I'm like, because it just feels so corrupted. Like I'm like, this is so. And in that scene in the movie, it's you can't even hear it. Like it's underneath 10 layers of Ben Burt sound effects. It was
Yeah.
one of the few times I was like, "Fucking Burt, man, what are you doing? Like,
I know.
what are
I
you doing?"
saw the sound team for the Star Wars stuff. They did made like John Williams sort of like a birthday card kind of thing where they used all the sound effects to play his music. And it was like kind of funny to me because like a part of me, I'm sure he was like, this is a very nice gift. But another part of him had to have been like these fucking sound effects over my music all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then you're
I would
giving
be.
him
Yeah,
it was like it was
because
like
that's
made of
remember
it.
that soundtrack had hit the net like a month early.
Yeah.
Before, and so I had been listening to it, and I was really
Yeah.
against the movie, and I was like, I do like this opening music, man. Battle for the Heroes was all right. It was just, but they, I was like, this is great. And then when we saw the movie, I was like, can't even fucking hear it, huh?
Yeah. Um uh
Ugh.
the Giacchino Rogue One score came out today, like the full thing. It's like the
Yeah, I saw
it's
Star Wars
released.
Meg covered that. That's cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, 57 tracks plus alternate takes and stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah.
They gave him what, 3 weeks to do that? That's nuts.
It was I don't know how long it was exactly, but it was very
You said
short.
3 weeks.
Yeah,
That's all I remember.
it was really, really short. I remember like I ran an article saying what was it, Desplat wasn't doing the score anymore. I was told he's out. And I ran it, and the Desplat comes out and goes, no, I'm doing it, or whatever. It's like a French accent. I can't do one.
Every
But he
time
was
you say Desplat, I see that slime hitting the TV with making
right
Star Wars.
there, the Desplat.
All
Yeah.
right.
And then I was like, okay, I guess I'm wrong, get one wrong every now and then. Okay, cool. And then nope, he was out. And then Giacchino was in. And yeah, but
Yeah, I
what we
like
got was
since
but
since
yeah,
Medal of
I
Honor, the PS1 Medal of Honor. It was originally they you remember PlayStation Magazine, the official one, not PSM.
yeah.
There was an official PlayStation Magazine. It always came with the demo disc. And
Mhm.
so, it was worth getting a subscription because you get a bunch of free demos, right?
Yeah.
And they had this demo for Medal of Honor on this thing. And up until then, I didn't like any first person shooter on a console. GoldenEye was fun, but it gave me motion sickness. But I played this and I was like, the music was like that. That's the perfect blend of cinematic and gameplay experience I'd ever had at that point. Like that, it's bouncy, it's lighty. I'm like, this feels like Indiana Jones during World War II. Like if Indy during World War II had happened, right? Which, by the way, why did we never get the Indiana Jones during, like the real after the invasion, helping them,
Mhm.
secure all the fucking shit during the fall of the Nazis? Like, by the way, untapped potential.
Mhm.
And so when he, I was always like, that's the fucking dude. I bought that. I have the CD. You had to get it from the DreamWorks website. It's the first time I bought anything online.
Mhm.
Through the internet
Yeah.
was the Giacchino Medal of Honor.
The very first thing I ever bought online maybe it was Amazon had just come out, and somebody got me a gift certificate for $20, and I bought the Star Wars annotated screenplays book from Amazon when it was just a book company.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the first thing I ever bought online.
I still think the best screenplay you could buy that is very like that's a real fucking screenplay is the Scream, the official Scream one. You ever see that one? They actually, yeah,
Mm.
it's great because if you ever read the Scream, forget what you want about the movie, but if you read it, that fucking screenplay, it paints the picture in your head. There's no fade in, cut to this. Like you just read it as if a story is being told to you. It's I
It
always
just
tell people if you want to
flows.
write shit, just if you ever want to write anything, just read that screenplay. That's just write like that because
Mm.
you just say what happens, and it's I know it seems so simple, but it's not as simple. Like that's where Tarantino screenplays come in handy. They really do read like he's telling you a story. They don't read like a screenplay. So I
Yeah,
really
yeah.
recommend the Django Unchained screenplay because
Mhm.
there's a whole couple of sequences that weren't shot. Rightfully so, it didn't make sense for the movie, but really elaborate like the whole what happened to his wife when she was off, and how she ended up on Candyland and stuff.
Mhm.
But it's just told like he's telling you the story. Super
Yeah.
good.
And that's where Django Fett is has the choker around his neck and he's Jabba the Hutt slave.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. He's got a
Oh,
bad
okay.
sugar habit. Horrible teeth, though. Horrible teeth. Jango Fett. That's why I had to
But
wear makeup.
yeah, I hope future Star Wars movies use Giacchino again. I
Hmm.
really do. Like, um, I don't know if it's one of those things where he worked really well under pressure on that time, but he's done so much good work over the years. I feel like if he really had time to work on a Star Wars thing, it would be something very special. You know, yeah, it would
Yeah.
be. I would love to read Michael Arndt's screenplay
It's
one of these days.
any of his work on Seven. I just want to get my hands on it. It's the great.
Yeah,
It's the Ark of the Covenant for geekdom for me. Like that's the great find. You know.
it is. It is. It's definitely something. It'll come out someday, but I just hope it's sooner than later. Yeah. I wonder if Danny Elfman will ever do a Star Wars one. Danny
Oh, which
Elfman still
Elfman?
scoring?
Yeah, he's still scoring. I mean, he did Justice League, right? The Justice version.
Because I
But
was I wanted Mark Mothersbaugh on Book of Boba for the mods. Would have been so good. Mark Mothersbaugh
his
is one of my
Thor score
favorites.
is great, dude. His
Yeah.
Thor score. He also does the score for what TV show were we
Thor
watching?
scoring 7 years ago.
I
Sorry.
know, but we were watching a show. I want to say, fuck, I don't want to say what show it was because I'll get it. People, he's not the one.
Okay.
But oh, was it? Was it? No, that wasn't it.
It was
There's
it was
something.
Sanford and Son.
You know what? You talk. I'll go look it up. I want to get
Okay.
it. It
No,
really is
well,
good.
yesterday I was having a brain fart, and like I know it's Sanford and Son, but I couldn't remember if it was Sanford and Son or Stanford and Son for some reason, even though I knew it was Sanford and Son.
The whitewashing version.
And then after we and then last night I'm going to bed, and I'm like looking for something on YouTube to try to fall asleep to, and it was this history of Sanford and Son, and I guess it was like some like British show first. I didn't even know that. I was pretty blown away. And Quincy Jones did the music.
All right,
That
so
that
it was two things. One, he does the music for Scooby Doo in the Shadows,
okay.
which the
Wait,
music's
who?
really fun. Mark Mothersbaugh,
Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, he's the
yeah,
best.
the TV series,
Devo.
and he did the score for Mitchell versus the Machines,
Oh,
which
okay,
is
I still
really
haven't
good
seen that,
too.
but yeah, I know
Yeah,
I need to
yeah,
watch that. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. He
yeah,
would have been perfect for a Boba Fett, especially with all that mod shit.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, who knows if they even approached him? But he had COVID really bad, almost died at one point. So I don't think he would
Really?
have been. Yeah, yeah. It was. I was like, fuck, please live, please live. But yeah, he made it. He's okay. But
He did the score for Revenge of the Nerds 2, Nerds in Paradise.
yeah.
That is so good, dude. I didn't know he did all the music for Pee Wee's Playhouse. Shit.
Yeah, yeah. No, he's
Shit.
a genius.
He's a
He
fucking
is.
genius.
He also draws a postcard every day, and every postcard he draws is awesome. Like if you have
That's
never
the
seen his work, look that shit up. You'll I think you'll love it. It
I
definitely
will.
it's like Pee Wee's Playhouse meets Devo. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but it's all there. The guy, yeah, he's one of the best artists. Um, living artist that I know of, and I would love if he did Star Wars someday. And he also he hides subversive messages and images, or I mean things, into the music. Like he did all of Rugrats, and like he has stuff like he had all these anti-consumerist messages in the Rugrats music, so kids are hearing
Nice.
it. Yeah,
We
and then
did
he
all the
also
music for Crash Bandicoot back in the in the
yeah,
2000s. I was hoping they'd get him back on Crash 4.
and he
I
and he
felt bad for
developed
the composer for that game. Was like, I'm not Mark Mothersbaugh. I'm like, who is? Like,
yeah
who cares? Just do.
yeah
They did a great job, but
mhm.
the guy's just a fucking genius.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't want to. I mean, I would love to do music for something someday, but I wouldn't want to. Oh, Mark Mothersbaugh's doing the theme, and here you get to follow that up now. Hey, Mr. Hamilton, he could do the Taika movie. That would be great, wouldn't it? I mean, I like I
Well, I
said,
would
that's a
imagine
dream
if
of mine.
Taika does that movie, that's how that would happen. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, that is my dream. I mean, I would love, because I would love for Star Wars to not go the silly way, but I'd love to hear a techno soundtrack. When I say that, I mean in the Mark Mothersbaugh sense, not like in the Matrix,
Right.
And I think that he would do it. And one of the only shows I would let my kids watch that was dumb for kids. I mean, when I say dumb, I mean for kids, was Yo Gabba Gabba. I mean, like that
It
show
was good.
was designed to not talk down to kids and to teach kids complex counting, you know, and good music. I mean, it's like, at one point I think they said, why do we have such shitty music? And it's like, well, when you're raised on Barney, you grow up to be a fucking asshole. So let's not raise kids on Barney. Let's write great music. And they actually did. It was what, the Aquabats and Devo and lots of others, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's good
that was the
stuff.
one at the time we were trying hard to get the license for. Like me and
Mm.
my art director is black, and he and I were watching it, and it was like we were trying to explain to these South African owners. It's true, I
Mhm.
mean, why this show is great, but it wasn't in their high culture, like sense
Mm.
of like what is no go get a Halo 3. Like, no, we need the Yo Gabba Gabba. Like, we don't need another Xbox fucking game on a
Yeah,
stupid corporate shirt. Like, this shit is super fucking cool.
right.
Couldn't do it. Couldn't get him to do it.
Star Wars Endgame says, "Can we get a Max Rebo spinoff showing him getting these gigs and then escaping the chaos that happens at every single one?" Yeah, right. I do like that kind of idea, when they were kind of like, when they would play like with that band on the run kind of motif or whatever. And it would be really really fun if they ever did something that wild. If they ever did, like, for instance, what were their names, Scad and Drash? If they had a band and it was about them doing stuff, and Max Rebo's there, and it's just ridiculous, and that kind of shit's going on, I would be all about it. It would be fun. And there are moments like in the Star Wars universe that I don't mind living in, so to speak, and like that would be an angle where you're doing something that you haven't done before, which is sort of, when I say a musical, I don't mean like, with line dance, with a chorus and stuff, but I mean like something very musical in nature. That's I liked where they were taking it in the animated episode of Star Wars Visions. But even that still for me fell a little bit short, but I liked where its heart was, if that makes
I still
sense.
think it's a better Boba Fett scenario than the one we
Fair enough.
got.
Fair
We
enough.
got Mos Espa, Boba Fett, and Huts, and it all plays way better than. I can recognize
We're,
the fucking locations. I know where everything is.
okay. Okay. How about this? So we got Max Rebo and Baze and what's his name from Rogue One.
Hold on. We're on a mission from Gonk.
No, no, no. That's what I said.
We're-
That was my joke, man.
Oh.
Come on.
You were gonna do Gonk?
Yeah, and I was gonna but I was gonna be like, because what's his name is blind. He could play a badass harmonica. You know what I mean? Like,
Right?
like it
Yes.
would be great. It would be great. You got the shades on
I
and
think it's
everything.
great. But you were gonna do. We were on a mission from Gonk.
I was gonna say we're on a mission from Gonk, and you
Damn.
fucking stole it. But
I
you
did
know what?
steal it.
Since
I feel
since
bad
since
about that.
we're a team here, I'm gonna just say okay.
I'll say you got it. I'll say you said it.
No, you said it first.
This
Max
is a special
Rebo's like,
edition.
yeah, no, Max. I look, man. Max Rebo's not there, you guys. Max Rebo is okay. He's fine. They made sure that Max Rebo was not there. They added a second Bith musician. They all look the same. We could keep killing those guys, and you'll never miss them. But Max Rebo, he's special. I would even say
he actually has a gaseous form. We were gonna call him Max Quifo, but like Jizz, it just it didn't age well. The whole thing.
Rebo and Tebow's all-star.
Bro, I forgot about Jizz until now. Like that was a whole thing. You know, like the fact that I can't believe it's called Jizz. I just can't believe it.
Yeah.
30 years, I'm still chuckling, man. You know?
Yeah.
That's when you try to brand all your shit, you're gonna end up in a bad place. Just don't. Like, it can't be jazz. It's like space. It's jizz. Like,
yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna call it a short episode today because I'm a little exhausted. We did a lot this week. A lot went on.
Week.
It was a very long week. We had finales and spoilers and all kinds of stuff. And
I thought yesterday was Friday.
Right? That's how I feel right now too. And then then I also have the segment of the internet trying to steal my soul. So all of that makes me a little tired of stuff. But anyways, we'll be back on Monday. If any big news breaks, I'll jump back on. And getting that weird heartburn. Yeah, we'll be back on Monday, 11 a.m. and Pacific Standard Time. If anything happens,
the Young Boomer would be a great pro wrestling name.
It would.
Right?
Yeah,
I could see the angle, the whole bit. All laid out.
You guys get no houses because I own 3.
yeah, like just all the entitlements, and you know what I mean. Like he comes out and protests other people's matches with air horns and shit. Just like the most annoying fucking.
When he gets pinned, he says, "No, it wasn't 3. It wasn't 3. I want to see the manager."
It's a fault. It's a fault. They stole the count. Like,
yeah.
It was. They counted. They stole it wasn't a real count. The fix was in. It's a big. All that shit. Young Boomer. I like.
Is the Super Bowl on Sunday?
Look, I don't. I'm with you. I rewatched your episode. I don't fucking keep track of Super Bowls. And
I don't know. I haven't heard anything, so I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I would think everybody would be wise to expect it's not, and then be happy if it is. That's my take. But all right. Well, anything else to say, Rob, before we go? Nope.
No.
Rob has nothing to say.
No.
Bye, guys.
No, I'm done.
Oh, and check out the Talking Sith podcast. I was on it. I'm not sure if the episode's out or when the episode comes out. When does the episode come out? It's out.
And your Patreon and the subscribers stuff. Give us money. Give Jason money.
Yeah. Give to the Patreon. It definitely helps. I definitely appreciate it. And so we will see. And like I said, check out the Talking Sith podcast. I had a good conversation last night with the boys over there, and it was a pretty good time. And Michael Pappas says it's out. Michael Pappas was there too. And I said some more off-color jokes on it. I'm sure that you could cancel me over. So fuck off. See you guys on Monday. Bye.
It's not about spaceships.
Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show.
It's not about spaceships.
All right. So right now, if you can, wait for it to upload your thing, okay?